Hello, I'm delighted to be here today. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you're enjoying your time at Empower Online. My name is Mohammed Shahat, and I'm a Senior Solutions Engineer at the Tanzu Partner Team. My team works with system integrators, ISVs, and cloud providers to work with customers, solving their problems and challenges, win the market, and scale adoption of Tanzu. This is a 30-minute talk, and I would like to share with you the value proposition of Tanzu Application Service, what achievements it has been bringing to customers and outcomes it has been delivering to businesses, where we're taking it, and how it's evolving. Even though this is a pre-recorded session, I'm recording early May, I will be available online so that I can answer your questions during the time of the presentation. This is a little bit of a disclaimer in case any of the features I'm sharing with you today would change in the future. That will protect me, basically. Some years ago, a number of internet startups have disrupted major markets. This was thanks primarily to their software capabilities, but also how they exploited the cloud, how they took advantage of the agility and scale that the public cloud would give them. They were organically cloud native, they were born in the cloud. Statements like software eating the world and it's no longer the big eating the small, but the fast beating the slow have mobilized big enterprises because they felt the disruption. And this is where they started their cloud or cloud native journey. At least they're trying. As we are here today in early 2020, and we all across the globe have been locked down for several weeks now with COVID-19, a lot of businesses have taken massive hits. Other businesses have flourished though. And those with businesses flourishing was primarily due to their software capabilities, software development, and how they scaled using cloud native techniques. With that, a lot of businesses recognize more than ever before the need for digital transformation and how valuable having software development capabilities and cloud native abilities is great to the business and the impact in today's world and how they could survive. It was even that Satya Nadella, Microsoft CEO, on a recent earning call, have said that the world saw 2 years of digital transformation in just about 2 months. That's incredible. So hence applications have become a core competency for enterprises. Application development velocity and customization have, in fact, become very critical to driving competitive advantage. It is really key to deliver extraordinary customer experience and how applications and businesses can differentiate themselves in a busy marketplace. But software applications need to live in production. That's how customers can enjoy the service, but also how the business can get revenue. So how fast it gets to production is really key, and how easy it is to iterate on these applications without risking stability nor security is key. All of us are working with enterprises, and we know how hard for them to change. But also the large heritage and the large portfolio of applications. In some businesses, hundreds of applications or even thousands of applications are legacy. And this is the critical business functions are depending on those applications. Any treatment, any modernization effort for those applications will bring massive cost reductions, optimization, and business improvements to these organizations. And it can help them innovate and take net new offerings to the market. This is a great opportunity for us to work on. So, what does good life look like in this myriad of things that enterprises need to deal with? This report, State of DevOps from last year, has been trying to answer that question. The report is focused on some metrics associated with throughput, stability, deployment frequency, how often value is getting to production. So, and it seems like it has settled That good looks like building and iterating upon software that customer can use while not risking security nor stability. And there is significant difference between those who are great and those who are just okay. Just look at the numbers here. The goal of every business is really to deliver useful applications to production. It is to get revenue and for the customers to enjoy the applications and the services. But we know that running software in production involves many layers. Integrating, patching, updating, scaling continuously at scale with no downtime. We know this is hard. And to do this across applications and across portfolio of apps, continuously and consistently, it's extremely hard. That's why at VMware last year, Pat Gelsinger announced Tanzu at VMworld, a new brand for modern apps. And let me tell you that this is the number one priority for us at VMware this year. So Tanzu is a portfolio of applications that would help enterprises transform and deliver and ship applications to production faster at quality. Build, run, manage is the stack that we have. So let's double click on build, and in particular, Tanzu Application Service, which is our topic today. So Tanzu Application Service is a turnkey application platform. It is purpose-built for developers, for them to boost feature velocity, and for ops teams to deliver world-class uptime. Additionally, it provides a great means for consistent operating model across every public cloud, and also in your private cloud in your data center, or like in customer's data center. It is very well known for being great for running Spring and Spring Boot. And for those of you who don't know, this is a great popular Java framework that is very widely adopted within the developer community. It also has great support for Windows applications and for .NET applications and .NET Core. And we have a framework, Steel Toe, which is great for cloud native .NET development. So Tanzu Application Service has been known with other names like Pivotal Cloud Foundry or Pivotal Application Service. Now, as part of Tanzu portfolio, it's called VMware Tanzu Application Service. A lot of you have already taken trainings or have people with certifications or also working already with us on customer stories. So I would really encourage you also when you're working with customers to help and educate them on investing above the value line. If you see the direction of the arrow, this is where the lower the development complexity and the higher the operational consistent efficiency. And this is where CF Push as an applications API has been great in delivering value across clouds and with hybrid deployments as well. This is above the value line of VMs or even containers. So how TES has been delivering this? It has been enabling developers who love CF Push with self-service and ability to deliver code in production faster. Stay focused and cool, basically. There is even a high code that is popular, which is here is my source code, run it on the cloud for me. I do not care how. Developers usually in traditional estates need to go through a lot of activities and coordination efforts with other teams to get their changes or applications in production. That, I mean, if you look at the screen here, it can take up to 15 days. In some organizations, even more. Using CF Push, they have been able to consistently deliver applications and changes in as less as 45 seconds. Magnificent. But there are other people in the organization who love Ops Manager as well and TAS. These are the platform engineers and the ops teams who are running hundreds of servers and thousands of containers in production. There is another high code for that. Here are my servers, go make them Cloud Foundry. I do not care how. They love it. So this is a way from this is an evidence from customers, and we've been using a benchmark called the 5 S's: speed, savings, stability, scalability, security, because we lead with business outcomes. It's very important not to be overwhelmed with technology, and we need to know that technology is there to enable the success of businesses. Liberty Mutual, Mercedes, Verizon, Comcast, and T-Mobile, and Boeing, all of them have been delivering improvements on all these 5 S's consistently and continuously at scale. We can summarize that in terms of how TAS has helped customers. They have seen over 30% increase in developer productivity. That's a lot of direct and indirect savings. Over 80% more releases per month, and apps making its way to production because the path to production have been streamlined. And as upgrading applications and platform is becoming easier, security posture is also in a much better place. 90% less time to patch operating systems is again another average from customers' deployments. So as we've been interacting with customers, we've found that the individual who owns the application portfolio at these organizations is the one who is most likely and most interested in the value that TAS brings. They just not they're enthusiastic about technology, but for them, it's delivering outcomes to the business that matter the most. So these are some questions to engage a champion, grab their attention, and start a conversation. And while you're doing this, I would like to share with you this study from Forrester on the cost savings and business benefits that are enabled by VMware Tanzu Application Service. This is a great asset to help you with the ROI calculations, and the interviews done are from actual customers in this study. A great resource. I'll be sharing the link in the resources at the end of the slides. So while TES has been delivering value in customers for several years, actually we're running hundreds of thousands of containers in production as of today. There's a new winner in the market in terms of the infrastructure APIs. Great innovation and great ecosystem and great community that evolved Kubernetes quite rapidly. And we at VMware love Kubernetes. We actually are one of the top contributors to the Kubernetes project now. We have two of the co-founders of Kubernetes, Joe Beda and Craig McLuckie, and we have made it at the core of Tanzu. Actually, Kubernetes is super powerful, but the applications development outcomes that we have been discussing aren't really native to Kubernetes. I'm a big fan of Kelsey Hightower, and one of the recent tweets that Kelsey had is that the delta between Kubernetes and a developer-friendly platform as a service is where the next layer of value is, and where things tend to get opinionated. Remember when we said invest above the value line? This is really key. So I'm really super excited to share with you that we're bringing TAS on top of Kubernetes to help tackle some of these challenges. So Diego has been our container orchestration platform, and we had Bosch, which has been really great in managing the infrastructure as a service and VMs for us. Kubernetes is replacing Diego in this new deployment option. Kubernetes is also covering some of the Bosch functionalities and capabilities, while Kubernetes Cluster API project is helping with the interfacing with VMs and with the infrastructure as a service across cloud. We're also replacing Go Router with Envoy and Istio, but we're keeping Cloud Controller intact because we want to preserve the CF Push API. We actually call it the sacred CF Push API. TAS will bring a great modern application platform to Kubernetes. Build, run, wire is magic for the Kubernetes market. But also we're really looking to Kubernetes to bring TAS to much more places than ever before. Things like a small footprint, or even on many cloud and edge situations, that will be possible today because TAS is being is brought to run on Kubernetes. we're very excited to have that.
Now, I would like to show you a demo of CF Push in action. In today's demo, I will show how to take an idea from concept to production with TAS. How it does really help the developers and the platform operators in their day-to-day activity. For that, I'm using a to-do list application which has a few components. A UI component which is developed using Vue.js and is packaged as a Docker image. There is also a backend API which is implemented using Spring. Both components will be CF push to task for Kubernetes. There is also a persistent store component which is realized using MariaDB. MariaDB is an open source version of the MySQL which has been acquired by Oracle. Platform operator will help me provision MariaDB through a service catalog. For the purposes of the demo, I'm using Mini Broker, which is an implementation of the Open Service Broker API. As a developer, I'll bind my to-do service to MariaDB using CF bind. The whole setup is running on Kubernetes, as we would expect. Task for Kubernetes Beta is certified on TKGI, but I have found it to run pretty well on several Kubernetes engines. So for the demo purposes, I'm using Kind, which is an excellent way to run Kubernetes on my machine. I mean, I believe this is how you can even try things yourself after today. Let's see this in action. I'll be running the demo on two parts. During the first part, I will install the system on my machine and validate that everything is working fine. Then, for the second part, I will show how we can get the to-do application up and running on TAS. For the demo, I'll be using TAS version 0.1. So you can go to Tanzu Network and download the packages there. I'm also following the instructions from the documentation. As the first step, I'll validate that I have everything I need on my environment. There are a few CLI tools that I need. Docker, kubectl, Helm, CFCLI, and Bosch, as well as Kind. Also K14s. Using Kind, let's create a Kubernetes cluster that we will use to install the system. Cluster info so that we can check if the API is reachable. I have downloaded the installation package and I have decompressed it as well. Applied some configurations. Let's run the installation script. It usually takes 10 to 15 minutes to complete, which is great. Excellent. We have our system up and running now. We can see all the pods of the system are running. Now it's time for us to set the API to our instance. And let's authenticate and log in so that we can push applications. We need to enable these flags so that we can support pushing Docker images as well as source code. Now let's create organizations and spaces, which are constructs within Cloud Foundry to help us segregate applications, assign permissions as well as quotas. Now everything is ready. Let's push a sample application that will help us make sure that the system is healthy and the networking and routing is working. The application is being pushed successfully, and you can see there is a route already created for us. This is a production ready application because it's deployed as highly available as well as routed. This is great. You can see also in the namespaces CF workloads, the pod, and the number of replicas. This is the time for us to provision the mini broker. That's a whole topic on its own, so I will only fast forward through it. I will enable the access to Redis as well as MariaDB as examples. We will be using MariaDB for our example, for our demo application. You can see here I'm creating a service, an instance called MariaDB to do for our application. And now I will create a key to help us access the database. The developer needs just to bind so that the credentials are automatically passed to the application. This is a great element of using Open Service Broker and server brokers in general. Here you go. These are the credentials as well as the connection URL to the database. This concludes part 1. We've installed the Kubernetes cluster. We've installed Taz on that cluster as well. We have configured the CF API. We've authenticated and logged into our instance. And we've also created an organization and space where we're going to push our applications. We've successfully CF pushed the test application to ensure that the system is healthy. We've also installed Mini Broker, enabled Redis and MariaDB as example services. We've used Mini Broker to provision a MariaDB database schema that we will be using. We were also able to create and retrieve keys to the database. For part 2, it's time for us to use CF push to stage, build, deploy, and route the 2 components and applications we have. This includes consuming the database service we've provisioned earlier. I have cloned the Git repository with the source code and the Docker file for the applications we want to push. Let me show you the repository folder structure. This application have a few components. For this demo today, we will be using 2 components only, the To-Do UI and the To-Do Service API. The To-Do UI is packaged as a Docker image, so the manifest will define and specify the Docker image name. And for the service, we will delegate the compilation and the packaging to CF push. So basically it's source code being uploaded to CF push. And this service depends on and binds to a database, and that's why we're giving it the service instance name we've created earlier. You can see here it's uploading the source code files. Let's look at the logs. As the source code is being pushed here, the cloud native build packs is the component responsible of detecting what language is this and choosing the right build pack to use. The build pack will take care of the compilation, build, and packaging into an OCI image and then deploy it as well. Great. We can see that we have the To-Do Service app started now. So we can check. And it seems running. We can also see the pods for it up and running. Let's try and use this API. You can see here that I'm able to consume it, the RESTful service. So this is now ready to be used. Now let's shift gears and try and deploy the UI component as well. Let's change directories and cfpush as usual. In this case, I will use random root. Random root is a great feature that helps you avoid clashes of routes in development environments. The application is now ready. Let's try to access it using the browser. It is loading, but it's failing to connect because the root is not in the same domain, subdomain as the Service API. We can map multiple routes to the same application. Let's try the new route. Here you go, the application is working. And those are records that will be inserted using the RESTful API to the database. Let's validate this. You will access the database, and using the client, we will inquire the table. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that.
Excellent. I hope you liked the demo. Now I would like to share with you some roadmap items and some of the releases we're making soon. So Tanzu Application Service for VMs is actually one of two deployment options for the platform. This is a GA product that has been running in production in many of our customers at the moment for a very long time. This continues to be an area of innovation and investment for us. We're making a lot of new releases as well. Expect new releases every 90 days, as was ever before. And we have a planned healthy enterprise lifecycle for it. TAS version 2.9 is GA recently, Ops Manager 2.9, and we've just released 2.10 in beta as well. TAS Application Service for Windows is also a great area of improvement for us and investment. And we will continue to develop and deliver on Bosch. One of the key updates we have as well is a long-term supported version, an LTS version. This is great and needed by customers, and actually for the partner community of you. It would be great if you have offerings to help customers uplift and upgrade their environments to this LTS version. That would make sure they are on a supported version moving forward. If you would like to go through the details and technical update of version 2.9 and 2.10, the recent versions of TAS, just get in touch with us. We would love to be walking you through these updates. For Tanzu Application Service Kubernetes, this is now in beta, and it has been just released in beta, and we will continue releasing new betas as we move forward. Once this is GA, which is expected later this year, we will be working on incremental improvements on the feature set, scale, and stability, so that we make sure we take it to pragmatic parity with SaaS for VMs. This will continue to add developer value on the Kubernetes ecosystem. And we're also working on an approach for migration of application workloads so that customers who want to migrate from TAS for VMs can do that. We will continue to work on the areas that were loved and where TAS has excelled, like application team experience, platform operations, and enterprise readiness. If you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go further, go together. Partners are really key for our go-to-market and Tanzu success. We're looking out to partners to enrich our customer journey, whether that's by driving new leads for modern apps on multi-cloud or driving deployment and consumption of the Tanzu software. Both will work. But also on the develop, there is a lot of opportunities. We can work with customers to build net new applications, and we know customers need a lot of help in this, handhold and upskilling for their resources. Customers have hundreds, if not thousands, of applications that are great targeting candidates for modernization. Help them study those and prioritize by business value. Help them also shorten the path to production and streamlining it deliver value to production sooner than later. So last but not least, this is a call to action. I would like you to check out VMware Partner Connect, solution and services competency to differentiate yourselves and earn financial incentives. Register to Spring One, our flagship developer and platform ops conference. Get in touch with us. We can't wait to be working with you. Book your teams in for training and encourage them to certify. Reach out for us for any certifications and study guides. Download the software on Tanzu Network and build sandboxes for your teams. Take these sandboxes to your customers, help on proof of value and proof of concepts and demonstrations. And just like get in touch with us, and we would love to engage with you and go to the customers together. And with that, I'm thankful ever so much for your time, and I hope this was very informative for you. Can't wait to meet you at the field and celebrate our partnership. And with that, keep safe, and I will see you soon.